Allow me to get my grown man on. I got a couple questions. Why are we more prone to jump on the phone and tell after the cuteness wear off, after the kid is about 4 or 5 years old? Why are we more prone to jump on the phone and tell what our kids do bad than good? Why are we so enthusiastic about when our kids fuck up and not so enthusiastic about when our kids do well? Why are we more prone to shine the light on negative things that our black people do, that our people do? Why do we respect going to jail more than getting a degree? Why do we choose to give negative things like dying in the streets and going to jail more attention than a degree? Why are we more prone to shine a light on negativity rather than basking in the joy of love and giving it and receiving it to each other? This is not a black power speech that I'm gonna give y'all today. I just decided to come to y'all on some real serious shit. Um, I've noticed that so many people have come out and jumped on somewhat of a bandwagon. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. A lot of people have come out and started talking about Nipsey Hussle and him being a real one, and talking about the things that he was contributing to the community. But I have one question: why did that talk only start when he died? Because in all honesty, I'm a hip hop head, y'all. I do music. That's how real it is. In all honesty, the only thing I knew about Nipsey Hussle was two things, and one of them I deemed to be a negative thing. And I'm not judging anybody, but it's something that I personally wouldn't partake in, which is gang violence. But he's the only thing I knew about Nipsey Hussle prior to Sunday is the fact that he is a Crip and that he's a rapper. So um, it disappoints me that I didn't know more about that man. He makes good music, but it disappoints me that I didn't know about Vector 90. It disappoints me that I didn't know about um, the changes that he owned a block and he was building that block and up and making it better. I didn't know that he was um, contributing to a whole bunch of different things and a bunch of different ideals, and I didn't know that. But the reason why I feel like I didn't know that is because as black people, and I said this on Facebook, and the first response that I got was a negative one, which basically makes my point. As black people, we either have a tendency to turn positives into a negative, or we don't speak on it at all. And that disgusts me. That's why I asked those questions in the beginning. This isn't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? This is not nothing new. I mean, let's go back to Tupac and all the positive music that he was putting out. Brenda's Got a Baby, um, and all of these things that were chronicling what was going on in our neighborhoods, and talking about coming together and black power and all of this stuff. And if you think about it, he really wasn't that popular until he got shot, until he went on, got put on the ambulance with 5 holes in his body, and he stuck his middle finger up. He wasn't that popular. You know what I'm saying? And what was the most popular song that he had up until that point? I Get Around. Just talking about cheating and doing things. Was just talking about being promiscuous as a man. That was his biggest song up until that point. Remember, Me Against the World didn't come out until he went to jail. So his popularity grew when he got shot, and his popularity grew when he went to jail. And then when he came out, he was on Hit 'Em Up, and he was on All Eyes on Me, which was a confrontational album. And then you started to love Tupac with mostly messages that were controversial and negative. That's when you chose to love them. Let's think about it. Let's go back even further. Let's go back to Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wasn't considered great until he died. Until then, Martin Luther King was just another nigga talking. Same thing for Malcolm. Frederick Douglass. These words that these people put out there, these public figures put out there, weren't looked at as the greatest thing in the world when they were putting these ideals and these thoughts out there. But once they died, those words held meaning. And even nowadays, how much do we actually talk about Martin Luther King? How much do we talk about Malcolm X? These guys are responsible for us even having the shots that we have now. The fact that we can go to college and get degrees. These guys have a big part in this. The Black Panthers. They own a big part in this. But we forgot, what is it, 50 years later? 60 years later? We've forgotten. We talk about them on their birthdays. We don't even talk about Malcolm. We don't talk about Frederick Douglass until somebody wants to say some smart shit. And people look at me and have the nerve to try to turn something that I'm saying to try to create change in somebody. They have the nerve to look at me and want me to be specific when they want to say, "Oh, not all black people." No, nothing that anybody can say is absolute of anybody. But the biggest thing that I want y'all to recognize is the same thing that we look at people and we say that they use those things to oppress. Those same characteristics that they utilize and the things that they say and how they feel and the tactics that they use to oppress us as black people. Do y'all realize that we utilize those things, those same mannerisms against each other? Do you realize that you won't date somebody because of their age? You realize that's discrimination? I mean, because they're not their age, but because of their height or weight or whatever the case may be, or their light skin, or their dark skin, or their brown skin. That is discrimination. But that's a choice. That's an opinion. That's something that's not. The fact that you will try to destroy someone's character because they don't think like you. The fact that everybody who doesn't think like you, which is everybody else in the world, is stupid to you. The fact that you don't see things exactly the same, that you would stop talking to someone. The fact that you're scared to support someone who has been there for you. The fact that we can't be good to people because we can't choose good people for our lives that fit our lives because we're worried that we gonna have to be good too. It's utterly repulsive. And that's not just talking about relationship. That's just talking about the circle that you the company you keep, period. That we choose these people and then we know how it's going to turn out because they ain't gave us no other reason to think that it's not going to turn out that way. And we still add them to our lives anyway. Because it's easier to let go of someone that hurts you than it is to let go of someone that cares. But that's part of the thought process. Why let go of someone that cares? This is the thought process that we have that doesn't make sense, y'all. Why would we let go of someone that cares? We tend to do it all the time, right? Because we don't shine the light, and the reason being we don't shine the light on the positive things that people add to our lives. We don't shine a positive light shine the light on positive things that people add to our community until they're gone. We don't shine the light on these thoughts and these ideals that people put out here to the universe until they're gone. You look at the difference in our music. Listen to the difference in the music that we listened to back in the 90s, early 2000s, and those people will be missed for the words that they put out there. Those people will be missed for the ideals that they put out there. If they should leave, knock on wood. But listen to the music what ideals are out here in the music today. And I'm gonna end with this, and this video has run a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm gonna end with this. Our kids, y'all, we gotta teach them a better way. These kids out here, man, listen, they took the power of our kids having some fear in them. And that's part of the reason why they're out of hand and they're doing the shit that they're doing, and they don't have no respect for rules or law or whatever the case may be. But we also have to teach our kids to fear God. Because if they don't fear us and they don't fear God, then they ain't going to fear nothing in these streets, y'all. And we're going to keep living this same shit. We're going to keep on living and watching our people perish. And watching our own perish. This is what I preach to y'all every day. When I post these videos and I post these, it's nothing but love, y'all. I might say it a little bit harsher than you want to hear it, but I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking on what I see in this world that we have. And I would never preach to you or tell you to hate anyone, because we don't have to hate everybody else in order for us to love each other. But loving each other will make it easier for us to love everybody else. So,